David Jacobs Memorial Drinks Trolley has arrived, from which we're selecting what?
We're going to go with a bitter orange spritz today.
Oh,
non-alcoholic,
nice.
but you could put vodka in if you fancied it, Matt.
No, I don't think so. We're working
But
and we
were quite boozy yesterday, so...
driving machinery here. Today's confession comes from Nobby. Nobby, thank you for this. Simon and the Forgiving Collective. For my confession, I take you back to the mid-1980s, around the time that the mighty Coventry City were beating Spurs in the cup final.
Oh, yes.
Not that this is relevant, actually, that's 87, so that's no.
Oh.
But I thought it was worth getting a mention in any case. We, being a group of lads from Coventry, were having a pleasant holiday in Ibiza. And I must apologise for some old-fashioned attitudes, which I now realise are deeply flawed.
Okay.
With Sunsea and Sangria, what wasn't to like? Well, there was one slight irritation. Here comes the first lump that we have to pass over. And that was a large party of German holidaymakers booked into our hotel. Don't worry, it all works out okay.
Okay, right.
Now, I don't wish to paint them with a stereotypical brush, whatever that is, but whether...
There's a butt coming.
Yes. And they were being over-competitive in the poolside games, building human pyramids in the pool, or just being generally boisterous. Their antics always raised a few tuts from the British on holiday. However, the one thing that bugged us more than anything was the fact that I know this is the stereotype, but it was true here. They always got the prime position around the pool. No matter what time the English holidaymakers raised from their slumbers, invariably they had their towels out on the most sought-after sunbeds around the pool. This was extremely pertinent since the other side of the pool was permanently in the shade. To be honest, this didn't bother us lads from Coventry, as we didn't tend to get up until the crack of lunch anyway. However, it was certainly a major talking point and a bone of contention, especially amongst a rather rowdy party from Leeds, I have to say. Frankly, we'd heard enough moaning and bickering from the Leeds guys, and not to mention the annoying chants of Leeds, 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 echoing around the corridors of Ibiza, which we didn't want. However, we enjoyed our holiday nevertheless and made it through to the last night. Out we went for our usual shandy in the local bars and clubs, and eventually got back to our hotel in the early hours of the morning. Now, to be honest, we hadn't minded the Germans at all. We liked them. They'd been a jovial lot, and the fact that they riled the party from Leeds so much had been a great source of entertainment and amusement for us. But what we saw when we got back to the hotel defied belief, Father Simon. We couldn't believe our eyes, but there, all around the pool, were German towels, neatly placed on the aforementioned prime sunbeds. Even we were shocked. It's 4 a.m.
4 a.m.?
4 a.m.
Wow.
No wonder they always had the good sunbeds if they put out their towels at this time of the morning. Well, frankly, this just wasn't cricket and was blatantly not acceptable. So in our giggly state, there seemed only one thing to do, and that was to chuck the towels in the pool.
Ah. Right.
Oh, dear.
We watched as each and every towel sank slowly to the bottom of the deep end, finally went to bed feeling rather chuffed with our actions. We awoke the next morning and eventually wandered down to the pool area with the usual sketchy memory of the previous night. As we walked through the restaurant, it was apparent that something had gone on. Throughout the restaurant area, there was the occasional turned-over table or chair, and a fair scattering of croissant and bread rolls around the floor. Far more than usual, anyway. We were also greeted by a number of the Leeds group who looked even more miserable and agitated than ever. There was clearly a subdued and rather tense atmosphere around the pool, with most people sitting in the bar area rather than poolside. To say that you could cut the atmosphere with a knife was an understatement. "What's gone on here, then?" we asked inquisitively in our Coventry accents to one of the Leeds party. "Well," he replied, "we got back last night at around 3 a.m, and for a bit of a laugh, we decided to put all our towels out around the pool."
Oh, right.
"And you're not going to believe this," said the Leeds lad, "but we got up this morning, we came down to the pool, and guess what? Do you know what they'd gone and done?" With last night's antics suddenly coming back to me, it didn't take much guessing. The Germans were only laying on our sunbeds, and they'd thrown our towels into the pool. Needless to say, said the Leeds guy, we weren't happy. He didn't use quite those words, but that's what he said. The bloomin' cheek, we agreed with the Leeds lad before we sulked away into a dark corner of the reception area to hide our shame. Apparently all the hell had broken out, with lots of pushing and shouting between the Leeds lads and the Germans, and eventually a table full of croissant, rolls and rubbery cheese and cucumber got knocked over. We did wonder who on earth has cucumber for breakfast, but anyway.
Come on.
Only the intervention, the Danes do, let me tell you that.
Oh, do they?
Only the intervention from the management stopped it coming to blows and a full-scale riot. There you go.
Yes.
So I had to wait a little bit longer. So I seek forgiveness not from the Leeds party, who were rather loud and boisterous anyway, nor from the manewment, since much of the food that was served was only fit for hand-to-hand combat anyway. But I do seek forgiveness from the poor Germans, who I think were from Dusseldorf, who no doubt had their holiday ruined by the near riot which had taken place over the breakfast table on their final morning, and actually was none of their doing at all. They were completely innocent parties. You see what I meant by saying it's all okay in the end. Okay, so Nobby needs forgiveness, but is he going to get it from Sister Susie in the studio?
Nobby, no, I don't think you are going to get it from me, because you just added to the stereotype that the Germans are stealing the sunbeds, and maybe they were, but they didn't on that occasion. They didn't throw towels into the pool.
Yeah, that's true.
And therefore, the Leeds guys, you should have just said, well, actually, that was me. And that you should have been brave enough to do that. And you know, maybe they wouldn't have had a fight with you, maybe it would have been fine. But because you didn't own up, I am not going to forgive.
Brother Matthew.
I've never understood this towel reserves a sunbed thing. Are you on the sunbed? No, you're not. Well, then I can be on the sunbed. And it doesn't really matter whether you've left a towel there or not.
Yeah,
if you're not sitting on it, then I'm having it.
What
Maybe if you're in the pool. If you're near enough to see me sitting on your sunbed, then you can tell me to get off the sunbed. So I've never understood that. But I think there is one thing that we, the Germans and the people of Leeds, can agree on, and that is that cucumbers have no place on a breakfast table, regardless of anything else that's going on. So I am going to forgive because of